They're also playing Lurrus. Okay, so we've got 5 lands here and 2 creatures. That's too many lands, so we're going to mulligan. Okay, this hand will do. We'll put the mountain back. And we'll start with a pseudo scry. And we can do it during the opponent's end step. Okay, so if we're facing against the Black Cleave Cliffs, not too many decks play that card. Jund used to play that card. Here's the Thoughtseize, so it could be Jund. We have no protection here, so they're going to take our Scourge of the Skyclaves. We're going to take a look at what we got under here, under the hood. Bloodstained Mire, so we're going to fetch. And we'll get a Blood Crypt untapped. We want to do damage to ourselves. We are playing a Shadow list. Okay, we'll draw 2 cards. We get land and Swiftspear. So we're going to play the Arid Mesa and the Swiftspear. And we'll keep the Mutagenic Growth to try and save the Swiftspear from a lightning bolt. Next turn, we're going to be looking to put Lurrus into our hand. We do have to worry about potentially another Thoughtseize, but okay, there we go. So we'll save our creature. And we'll probably go ahead and fetch as well. Actually, I'm going to avoid fetching here. It could come in handy later with the Fatal Push. And I would want to get an untapped land anyways. Okay, Mishra's Bauble. We almost certainly want to put Lurrus into our hand here. So we're going to play the Bauble and attack. And we'll Bauble them on their upkeep. So I'll put a stop in. Okay, we're still going to want to grab Blood Crypt. We don't use much white mana at all in game 1. It's more of a game 2 and 3 kind of a thing. Okay, I will pass and use the Bauble in the upkeep. So we'll see what they get to draw. They get a Lava Dart. Okay. Not too afraid of that there. It could be quite useful to destroy my Lurrus, actually. Okay, they got an Abbot. Revealing a mountain. It looks like they're going to hold up the Lava Dart. Okay, so we find land and Thoughtseize. That seems quite good. We could play the land, Thoughtseize them, get rid of a removal spell, and Lurrus into Mishra's Bauble. And that would make our Swiftspear quite large. We could attack. Okay, so they have Lava Dart, which can kill Lurrus. They have Unearth, which can bring back an Abbot of Carol Keep and the Abbot itself. So it's between the removal spell, which can kill Lurrus, or the Abbot. I'm leaning towards the Lava Dart, and we can keep Lurrus around for a couple turns. The card advantage will be too much, I hope. Okay, we're going to save our life total a little bit here. We're going to go down to 9. We'll get Basic Mountain, and then we'll play the Lurrus. And then we'll cast a Mishra's Bauble. And next turn we're going to be looking to cast the Scourge, along with a Fatal Push. We're tapped out here. We might as well wait until their upkeep to activate the Bauble. But I think that we can safely attack here and put their life total lower, so our Scourge will come back as a 8/8 potentially. Okay, so they are going to block. They're going to be able to bring that back with Unearth. So the block here makes sense. Okay, and they're going to Lava Dart the Swiftspear, so they're going to be able to actually take care of my creature here. We will definitely take that trade, one of their lands and their Abbot for my Swiftspear. That's a fine trade. Let's see what they're about to draw. Soulscar Mage. It's a good card for them. But it does not kill the Lurrus. Okay, so they go ahead and play their mountain. I imagine they're going to Unearth. No, they're going to start with the Abbot from hand. Kroxa on top. They're not able to cast it. They've already played a land this turn. And Soulscar Mage. Okay. So we get a Thoughtseize and a Cling to Dust. We could Cling to Dust in response to their Unearth. It is an instant. Otherwise, they don't really have much we'd want to Thoughtseize. But Clinging to Dust, the Abbot would actually result in us gaining life. I think that's fine. We're just going to want to cast the Scourge then. I think that I could probably wait on the Fatal Push. So we're just going to pass. I don't think I want to attack with the Lurrus and put it at risk. They could just block with the Abbot of Carol Keep. I think maybe the one reason I would want to go ahead and Fatal Push would be in case they draw a removal spell, a Lightning Bolt or something. That could end poorly later. So we're just going to go ahead and do this now. And we'll take off the stop on the upkeep. Okay, so they're casting the Unearth. Going to target the Abbot here. So I'm going to Cling to Dust. I'll gain a little life, but my Scourge will stay the same size, and their Unearth will fizzle. Okay, that's the Sunbaked Canyon and the Unearth. That's all the cards we knew about. And they're going to play a Seal of Fire. Okay, there's nothing we can do about that. That takes care of the Lurrus. We have an Unearth of our own to draw, so we can still come back, or bring the Lurrus back, rather. And we also have Cling to Dust ready to go, so we can cast that to draw a card. I should win this race quite handily, so I'm going to attack. Okay, this becomes an 8/8, and if I play the Godless Shrine untapped, it becomes a lethal threat. We can hold this in our hand and decide if we want to play it next turn. Or I'm also thinking I might want to immediately cling to something to dust, just to draw a card and see what we get. If we get Fatal Push, we can play the land and kill the creature. Same thing if we... Not if we get Lightning Bolt, because the last land is a Godless Shrine. So I would have to play this first. Okay, I would like to keep the red-black mana available, so I'm going to play this. We'll get rid of their Seal of Fire. And we find a Death Shadow, so we'll go ahead and play that as well. Okay, so they put Lurrus into their hand, and they're passing. We have access to the Thoughtseize here, so we can take it away from them, as well as grow our Death Shadow. They'll have to block the Scourge, and then they'll take 5. Okay, we find Bomat Courier. So that's something we're also going to want to play. We'll cast the Thoughtseize, growing our Shadow. Okay, they are going to respond. They might have a Lightning Bolt or Fatal Push. Almost certainly, bringing in an untapped land here. Yep, there's the Fatal Push, killing our Scourge. And that grows the Abbot to the size where the Bomat Courier would die if it attacked. Okay, we take their Lurrus. Worth it. We don't have enough mana for Cling to Dust, so it looks like the only thing we can do is attack with a Death Shadow. They could take it, go to 2, or they could lose their Abbot. I think they're probably going to take it. We could also attack with the Bomat Courier to draw 1 card. I think that's the best thing to do with the Courier in this case. Okay, they're not going to block anything. They're at 1. I think we just pass here and see what they can do. I don't believe they can kill us with just 1 card. Okay, they're going to Cling to Dust, targeting our Cling to Dust, which will draw them a card and give them a Prowess trigger. Nothing we can do about that. We don't have enough mana to use it. Okay, no attack. We have 2 lethal threats. We're going to play the Marsh Flats because we can use the Bomat Courier to draw 2 cards. We might as well play the land. I would like to draw 2 cards. Okay, they have Fatal Push. So we're going to keep playing. This could still go either way. Temur Battle Rage is useless. And we've lost our Cling to Dust. So we have no plays. They've really drawn out of this quite nicely. We do still have a lot of outs. We can draw Lightning Bolt, Seal of Fire. We haven't drawn either of those yet, so there's 6 left in the deck. Oh, that's a lot of mana. What do they have here? Oh, okay, they're Clinging to Dust, targeting Mishra's Bauble. I'm surprised they didn't target a creature to gain some life. I think that would have been the better play, honestly. I'm going to leave the Marsh Flats where it is. It could potentially buy me another turn. Get Lightning, so they're really going to regret not gaining the life when they had the chance there. Okay, so we're playing against a prowess type deck. So we're going to want extra removal spells. Kozilek's Return might hit a couple of things. Soul Guide Lantern can get rid of Lava Dart. So this would be okay. But their main plan isn't the graveyard. It's going to be involving the creatures that they have on the field. Then again, they are playing the Titan. So the Soul Guide Lantern might be a good inclusion, actually. Path to Exile seems quite good. We like that quite a bit. Kozilek's Return is okay. So let's look at what we want to be taking out. They're going to have excellent answers to our creatures. They're using both Lightning Bolt and Fatal Push, so Mutagenic Growth and Apostle's Blessing seem quite good. Cling to Dust seems good in this matchup, as does Fatal Push and Lightning Bolt. The Dismember, I think, is a bit of a risk. It doesn't kill a Titan, and our life total is already going to be under pressure, so I'll take out Dismember. I am considering taking out some number of Thoughtseize. The opponent is going to be playing their hand with such velocity that it's going to empty quite quickly. I wouldn't mind putting in Inquisition, however. So we might take out some number of Thoughtseize. And then we can bring in some Lanterns and some Paths. Two Thoughtseize left. Take them all out, and we'll just bring in the extra removal here. As for the Kozilek's Return, it could be game breaking. I would really like to bring it in. I think I'm going to take out Temur Battle Rage. Too much could go wrong. They have access, like I said, to so many removal spells that this is a liability. So we'll bring in Kozilek's Return and either the Inquisition or the Kolaghan's Command. I'm thinking Kolaghan's Command. It has so many options. We can kill one of their creatures, or better yet, return a Lurrus to our hand if they manage to kill it. So this is how we're going to play Game 2. Okay, we'll show them our Nightmare Kitty. This hand is good. We'll keep. We're going to want to fetch shock both times. We are going to want to find a white source. I'm thinking probably red, white, and black, red. Definitely keep. Just trying to decide how I want my line of play to go. I suppose we'll have to wait and see what the opponent does first. Okay, they're playing a tapped land and a Mishra's Bauble. So we're going to be playing Monastery Swiftspear and Mishra's Bauble. We'll see what we draw here before we decide how we're going to play out our land. Okay, and they are going to take a look at what we are drawing, so they know this card. Marsh Flats, so that's the card we're going to play. I'm thinking we probably start red-black, and then we have access to white lands with the Arid Mesa. And we'll put a stop on the opponent's upkeep to see what they're about to draw. Okay, so they're about to draw a card with Mishra's Bauble. We'll take a look at what that card is. It's a lightning bolt. Okay, so goodbye Swiftspear. And we'll remove the stop. Okay, Seal of Fire. We know they also have lightning bolt in hand. Plan, I think, this turn is to play Soul Guide Lantern and Seal of Fire. We can Soul Guide away one of their baubles. Or the Seal of Fire. I'm actually leaning towards the Seal of Fire. It's a removal spell that can hit our Lurrus. Okay, we get Fatal Push. Excellent. I'm just wondering if I want to fetch here or just play this Blood Crypt. Leaning towards the fetch, and I could go get a red-white land, and then I can get a basic swamp with the Bloodstained Mire. So I'll find a Sacred Foundry. Play our own Seal of Fire. And a Soul Guide Lantern, and I think we'll hit the Seal of Fire. Okay. They have two baubles, so we can use the Soul Guide Lantern if we want to clear the baubles out. But the Seal of Fire is what could kill our Lurrus, so we took care of that. We do remember they do still have Lightning Bolt as well. Okay, they reveal a Lightning Bolt. They do have land, so they can use this to hit our face. And they will. Okay, I think we just go to our turn here. Mishra's Bauble. So my plan here is to, let's see here, I think I play Bloodstained Mire. Go to, actually the Blood Crypt would put me to 9, which is enough to make the Death Shadow a 4/4. So we can do that. And we can use the Seal of Fire to kill the Abbot. Then we'll have access to Fatal Push as well. A bit of a shame to hold out on the Lurrus. I would like to put it in my hand, but I think getting the threat out is pretty important as well. And this doesn't die to Lightning Bolt. Okay, put a stop on the upkeep so we can see what they're about to draw. They're going to draw a Nail Spellbomb, so that will take care of our graveyard. So we're not going to get much value from our Lurrus either. Okay. But if we had put the Lurrus into our hand last turn, it would have been a bit of wasted effort because of the Spellbomb. We don't know what else they have in their hand, though. They could play 2 Lightning Bolts to kill our Death Shadow, or a single Fatal Push. Okay, they've put the Lurrus into their hand, and it looks like we're going to my turn. So I'll draw 2 cards, get another Soul Guide Lantern, and the Agadeem's Awakening is interesting. We have a Swiftspear in the yard, so we could bring that back. And our Soul Guide Lantern can get rid of another one of the cards in the opponent's graveyard. I would like to put Lurrus into my hand and hold up the Fatal Push. So I think I'll go to 8 here and start attacking with a 5/5. Okay, this could be Fatal Push. It is the very thing. Okay, and we can Agadeem's Awakening to bring it back right now. This is the first time I've actually cast this spell. Seems like an Unearth for 4 mana. Okay, there's the Lurrus. Oh, I should have used this already. But if they want to get the Abbot, they have to fetch. So it looks like they're going for the Bauble. It was a bit of a punt. I was supposed to use this in response to the Lurrus being put on the stack. My bad. Hopefully I'll get an opportunity to get rid of this Bauble. Okay, I can wait now so that I can use this to give me Revolt, so the Fatal Push will kill their Lurrus. And I'm wondering if I should actually use it to draw a card here instead. Since I'm going to be killing their Lurrus, I don't have to worry about the cards in their graveyard as much. So I could use the Sacred Foundry to draw a card, Fatal Push with the Swamp, and the other 2 lands make the Scourge. Okay, we'll go to combat first, and we'll play the Scourge in the second main as a 10/10 for 2 mana. Eat your heart out, Tarmogoyf. Okay, that's all we can do. Let's wait and see if it's enough. Three cards in hand. I mean, I suppose it's possible they have triple bolt. What they really need here is Fatal Push to get rid of the Scourge. If I get an opportunity, I'll play the Soul Guide Lantern after the Swiftspear. Soul Guide will target the Lurrus, so they can't get it back with Unearth. Okay, here's a Kroxa. So the Lantern would actually probably hit the Kroxa instead. I'll discard the Swiftspear, I think. Have they played a land yet? If they have another land in hand, they could actually recast the Kroxa, and there's nothing I could do about it. Okay, no land. That's good. So the Lantern can get rid of the Kroxa. Oh, they did have a land, but it didn't produce black mana. That's what they were missing. And we get another Swiftspear. Okay, so we will cast the Swiftspear with the Foundry. We use a Swamp to Soul Guide Lantern, get rid of their Kroxa. Which will also grow our Swiftspear, of course. Okay, so we think that they have the Lightning Bolt is still left from the beginning of the game, right? Yeah, so they still have Lightning Bolt in hand. They can block the Scourge, kill the Swiftspear, and take 5, I think is their play. We're fine with that. We don't need to activate the Soul Guide Lantern to draw a card. Smart, draw a card first with the Blood Crypt. That does mean that they won't be able to draw into Fatal Push here. They only have the single red available. But if they survive the turn, they'll have the extra card for that next turn. I was expecting... Maybe they've already used that Lightning Bolt, but this I was pretty sure was the one from the Abbot of the Carroll Keep. Maybe they're fitting to ambush me with Swiftspear Bolt Bolt. I can still try and draw to Bolt or Fatal Push. Oh, hey there, handsome. How you doing today? Okay, it's a Cling to Dust. Targeting our Bauble, that's fine. I suppose we could use the Soul Guide Lantern. No, that's each opponent's graveyard. And I think they're hitting ours with that, so... No, that's a Soulscar Mage, right? So they're hitting their own graveyard with this. We could remove their graveyard, then they would not draw a card. Okay, I can buy that. So the one Lightning Bolt they have left in their hand equals a total of 6 damage, putting us to 2. That's right, handsome. We lost our graveyard turn ago to the Spellbomb. Okay. This hand is okay. 3 lands, Swiftspear's Thoughtseize. So we'll play Swiftspear and then turn 2 Swiftspear Thoughtseize. Our opponent not impressed. Well, I wonder about that. They probably jumped right back in with the same deck. They did reveal the Lurrus. So they're probably playing the same thing, but they know that we are almost certainly playing the same thing. Because they would have left their league and then rejoined a new league and found us. So we'll start with the Blood Crypt. Yeah, that's right, Handsome. We're running a league. So this is match 2. We're going to run all 5 matches. You came in right at the start, so congratulations. You get to watch the whole thing. Okay, that's not something we can take care of yet. We are going to continue with the same plan that we had, depending on what we draw, which is just another Mire. I think that we'll just run out of Blood Crypt here. Play a Swiftspear and then take their best card. Okay, so they've got a ton of cards in hand here, but no lands. I could take the... Okay, so they've got a ton of 1-drops, no lands. I do not want to touch the Kolaghan's command for that reason. I'm leaning towards the Fatal Push, which is their only removal spell currently, and then I could maybe run them down. Oh, I probably will be making a series of mistakes, but you won't be seeing me rage quitting. I'll run the whole thing through. We're going to take the Fatal Push. We could have probably left the Fatal Push because of our Apostle's Blessing, but we wouldn't be able to protect our Swiftspears this turn. We know that they draw Bloodstained Mire, so we have perfect information about what's in their hand. Okay, so there's the Soulscar Mage. And they have access to Cling to Dust to grow them to 2/3s. The highest that we could make our creatures would be 3/4s. Is that correct? With the Apostle's Blessing? So we would be able to kill one if they Cling to Dust and double block. So I think I'll play the Bauble and attack with both. Yeah, sorry to disappoint you there. I do not get Fisher Salty or Ryan Salty or particularly salty at all. So we're going to play the Bauble, but we will wait until their upkeep to crack it, to play around their Thoughtseize. And here we go. Let's turn him sideways. Okay, no blocks. Makes sense. They're going to be able to do significant damage on their turn in the crackback. Makes total sense to me. So let's find out what they're about to draw, and we can make a decision on the Bloodstained Mire. Oh my. I hope it was their own Mizzium mortars and not someone else's. Oh, did I just skip through their upkeep here? Ah, distracted. Unfortunate. And a Thoughtseize off the top. Okay, that's not a land. They might as well attack for 2 here. They didn't block, so they might as well use them to attack. Okay. We are going to use the Bauble here. We'll take a look at what they have coming, or what we have coming, sorry, and then we can scry. Dismember. I do like the idea of getting a removal spell. I think that we keep the Dismember there. Not the best removal spell we have access to in this matchup, but it's one just the same. And we get Thoughtseize. Wonderful. So we'll play a land and start with the Thoughtseize. Dismember. Which member? Okay, so same hand that we saw before. The Kolaghan's Command is starting to look more attractive. If I take the Swiftspear, they can just unearth it, so there's no value to that. The other option is Cling to Dust, which can turn into another card. At this point, I would like to take the Kolaghan's Command. It's their only other removal spell. And then we'll attack. If they don't block, we kill them. Okay, so they're tapped out. They don't block. And we have 2 things to trigger Prowess, which will make these 4/4s. Okay, that's a game. All right, I'm going to take just a minute here to adjust where the chat box is coming up on the screen. Okay, moved it off of the game log. As to what we want to do here, we're going to do pretty much the same thing as last time. Bring in the Path to Exile and the Soul Guide Lantern and Kolaghan's Command. We'll take out Dismember, Temur Battle Rage, now what else did we take out? The Thoughtseize. We take out all the Thoughtseize. Okay, we're going to try this. Take out the Temur Battle Rage. They're too much of a risk. One of the Dismember. They're going to be doing a lot of damage to us. So we don't like this removal spell as much as Path. Oh, so the reason we're dropping the Temur Battle Rage is it's too much of a risk. The opponent is going to be playing with a slew of removal spells. So it's too easy for the opponent to 2-for-1 us if we're playing TBR. Okay, this hand is okay. We're going to keep. We can first turn Lightning Bolt them and then play Scourge of the Skyclaves as a 3/3 on turn 2. Yeah, TBR is a gamble. And in some matchups, that's a gamble that we want to make. And in this one, I think that it's too risky. Okay, so we might end up using a Lightning Bolt on their Soulscar Mage instead of their life total. Let's see what we draw first. We draw Mutagenic Growth. So if I use the Lightning Bolt to kill the Soulscar Mage, then we don't have it to make the Scourge into a creature we can play. But I think we can wait a few turns to play it. The question is, do we want to use the Fatal Push instead? I don't think that they're playing creatures that the Fatal Push is better than the Lightning Bolt, so we're going to play the Fatal Push. I think that we're going to start with the Blood Crypt, and then we can get a white land with the Bloodstained Mire on turn 2. We're going to push the Mage now. We could wait. I don't think that it really matters. Yeah, you're right there. Kroxa would be a problem that we could take care of with Fatal Push. It might also be a problem that we could take care of with Graveyard Removal. There's the Kroxa, just as you called it out. It has been summoned. We're going to discard the Mutagenic Growth. Okay, they're at 19, so we can play a Scourge. I would have liked a Thoughtseize or something. So the question is, do we get a black-white land or a red-white land? I'm thinking black-white. We just have way more black magic cards in our hand, so we'll go get Godless Shrine. And we'll play one of our Scourges out as a 1/1. I think it's worth it to get it out now. It does mean that it dies to Lightning Bolt, which is unfortunate. But next turn we can use Lightning Bolt to make our next Scourge a 4/4 if we find a land. Okay, so they're getting Blood Crypt. That's fine. Okay, here's an Abbot. Revealing Seal of Fire. They do have a land. That's the one we knew about. So their Seal of Fire can get rid of our Scourge. Oh, no, because they went to... because they went to 17, Seal of Fire no longer hits Scourge. Because they played the Blood Crypt untapped. That's pretty great. I like that a lot. No land, unfortunately. So what are we going to do here? We can Bauble and play Scourge. I also really like attacking and seeing if they block. We can Lightning Bolt them, and our Scourge will grow to be too big to be killed by the Seal of Fire as well. Okay, they're not going to block, so we'll let the damage go through and play a second Giant Scourge. And then we'll play Bauble and do the old song and dance. Okay, so they're drawing Arid Mesa. That's fine. Bolt to Face used to be my bread and butter. Spent a lot of time playing Burn. They do find Fatal Push. The question is, are they going to attack us into a Death Shadow range? Oh, they find 2 Fatal Pushes. Good for them. That's going to be a lot of damage. Means we're going to be able to play our Death Shadow and then Lightning Bolt their Abbot, and they'll have nothing. Okay, we do get land, so we can play Scourge and Lightning Bolt. May need to self-bolt for lethal. Ooh, we can only hope. We do have to be cautious of their Seal of Fire, just as a way to end us. Let's see here. So, I think that our best play is still going to be playing this Scourge here. And then we can go get basic Mountain with the Bloodstained Mire if we need to use the Lightning Bolt. But otherwise, I'm going to hold it in hand. We could play Death Shadow as a 3/3 to expand our board. And they have 0 cards in hand. I kind of like that idea. I'm going to go get basic Swamp and play Death Shadow. They keep on pushing our guys, but our guys keep on coming. If they want to attack me, it'll only grow my Death Shadow. Alright, so they're putting the Lurrus into hand. Bolting them makes my Scourge into a 10/10. That's pretty cool. So we'll play the Marsh Flats, which, if necessary, can fetch a Blood Crypt. If I fetch a Blood Crypt, then I go to 6, which means the opponent could have Bolt in hand and bolt me again to kill me. They have to block the Scourge, and if I go to 6, my Death Shadow is a 7/7. So with a Monastery Swiftspear and the Bolt, that puts them to 1. I think that if they block the Scourge, we can put them to 1. If they don't block the Scourge, they're dead. So the Abbot has to block. So if we Lightning Bolt the Abbot, and they don't have Fatal Push, then if we have Swiftspear on the table, that's 7 plus 4 is 11, 12, 13 exactly. So we'll play Swiftspear, bolt their Abbot, and then they'll use a Seal of Fire to kill the Swiftspear, so that's not lethal either. I don't think that we can kill them this turn unless they're stupid. But they do have to block, so we'll just attack all, and then we'll hold the Lightning Bolt, just in case. So they have to block the Scourge and use the Seal of Fire. They have to hold it, because if they use it, we can Lightning Bolt for the kill. Okay, that's the block we expected. Okay, they're blocking the Swiftspear. Interesting choice. Makes a little bit more sense if they have Fatal Push in hand. But our Lightning Bolt is going to, let's see here, what else can we do? Tough decision for the opponent. I don't know what the second card in hand is. I know they have a Lurrus. So this block makes sense if they have Fatal Push. And this block makes sense if they don't. So let's see here. I think that we fetch Shock here, make our Death Shadow into a 7/7. That would put us to 6. And then if they have Bolt in hand, they could kill us with Lurrus and Seal of Fire. So maybe I only hit them for this damage for 5. And then aim to win on the next turn. I decided to play with an insulated life total. I didn't want to get blown out by lightning bolt. Yeah, gonna hodl. Okay, here's the Lurrus. They can play the Soulscar Mage out as an extra blocker. Okay, we might as well wait until our turn. We can give the Swiftspear a prowess trigger this way to find out what we draw. We get a Path to Exile, so we have removal spells for both their creatures. They're tapped out, they're dead. Okay, there we go. There's our match. Let's see here. We have 4 lands and removal spells. Not a big fan of this hand. We're going to mulligan. We have 2 lands and creatures. We're going to keep this. We're going to throw one of the Swiftspears away and hold on to the Lightning Bolt and 2 lands. Handsome's listening to the Disney songs. Very good, very good. I've always found music to be very subjective. So I figure if people want to listen to music while watching Magic cards, they can set up 2 systems themselves and listen to the music they really like. Now, the unfortunate thing here is I would really like to play the Bomat Courier first, but that doesn't play well with playing 2 Swiftspears on the next turn. I am quite partial to this hand myself. Now, we might actually want to go ahead and just play Lightning Bolt immediately on the opposing Swiftspear. Another non-red land with our totally red hand here. We're going to go get Blood Crypt. And we're going to kill the Swiftspear. Cancel that. Big part of our deck plan is losing life, and that Swiftspear is going to drop our life total real quick. We're going to wait a turn and play the Courier first. Basic Mountain as Swiftspear could definitely be burn. If it were Prowess, they would probably be running Obosh, but the Steam Vents here makes me think that it's and the Metamorphose, so we're playing Is It Prowess. Believe Is It Prowess plays a couple basic mountains. Oh, they've got Storming Entity. Good thing we held on to that Lightning Bolt. Pretty happy about that decision. They could still have Mutagenic Growth to save it, but we're going to play Lightning Bolt for sure. And if we find red land, then we're going to play Swiftspear Lightning Bolt. Otherwise, we'll play the Godless Shrine tapped. It is prowess, but is it though? Is it? I imagine they'll attack. They do. Why not? They have a perfect blocker in Storming Entity. And we find another Lightning Bolt, but we cannot cast it because of our stupid lands. So we're going to go ahead and try and take this thing out. If they have Mutagenic Growth, then womp womp. Looks like they do. Okay. Womp womp. We'll have to wait another turn to try and deploy our Lightning Bolt. In the meantime, we will have to do nothing. We have the Bomat Courier as a blocker, basically. Can't even draw the card off it. Okay, there's a Sprite Dragon. So opponent has put out all their threats here. We can prevent 1 damage. If they have Lava Dart in hand, they're going to just do a monstrous amount of damage. Okay, no spells. Another Soulscar Mage. 4 creatures out. And we get another land. It is a red land, but it also costs life. So we can kill the Storming Entity, and then they'll only have 3 power on the board. So we have to hope to evade spells, basically. It's not looking good. Maybe if we... Oh, Lava Dart. That's it. GG. Because that's going to be 9 damage from these 3 creatures. We don't have Fatal Push. Okay, let's see here. So, how are we going to run this? We definitely want removal spells. So we're going to bring in the 3 Path to Exile. We could bring in the Inquisition of Kozilek, potentially. Soul Guide Lantern doesn't do anything. Wear Tear, if they play Blood Moon, that would be good, but most of these decks are on Cleansing Wildfire nowadays. Kolaghan's Command doesn't seem very good. This matchup's going to be too fast. Kozilek's Return could have a place, especially on the play. We're going to try it. Cling to Dust doesn't seem very good. We don't really need that. Mutagenic Growth and Apostle's Blessing, both seem fantastic. We're going to keep both of those. We could take out some number of Thoughtseize, as they do hurt us, and our opponent is going to be doing the damage for us. We can take out the last one and replace it with an Inquisition. Inquisition doesn't hit Entity, though, which is a problem. I think we're going to run like this. If you'd like to check out a league played with Izzet Prowess, I do have a couple of selections on my YouTube page. I think I have 2 or 3 leagues with Izzet. I'm going to take a quick look at my Izzet list here and see what I have on the board. So I was playing Spell Pierce, Aether Gust, Flame Slash, Abrade, Blood Moon, Kozilek's Return, Relic of Progenitus, and Dragon's Claw. So if they bring in Dragon's Claw, that could be a problem with them gaining life. Okay, we'll take the play. Show them our cat. Okay, we have removal spells. We can get a Death Shadow out probably on turn 3. Good enough to keep. Not great, but I would say good enough. Yeah, Dragon Claws could be a problem with the Scourge. Yeah, they definitely have some pretty good options. We're going to start with probably the Bloodstained Mire, so that we can fetch something tapped. With Death Shadow, though, we want to reduce our life total quite quickly, but our opponent will be doing that for us. They have to attack with creatures to win. We can actually just leave the Bloodstained Mire, I think. Okay, we get Lightning Bolt, so we can use that to hit them, and we can play our Scourge as a 3/3. Okay, we'll pay the life for this Blood Crypt and pass. Okay, they're not going to play anything either. Afraid of our removal spells, I suppose. I would really rather keep these spells as things to get rid of their creatures. But in order to play a creature, we need their life total to drop. Either that or we can drop our own life total. If we fetch Shock, we go to 15. Godless Shrine puts us to 13, so we still can't play the Shadow. Okay, we're going to bolt them so we can play Scourge. Okay, we get another Death Shadow. And if they try and Lightning Bolt it, we can Mutagenic Growth to save it. Unfortunately, the Mutagenic Growth will only work one time, whereas with Death Shadow, Mutagenic Growth will grow the Shadow by 4 instead of just 2. Here's an Opt. So with a third land, that means they can start deploying Entity. I imagine that's what they're going to try and do this turn. They're really digging for something here. Okay, there's the Entity. We're going to be able to use our Path to kill that. And we're going to want to do it while they're tapped out, because they do have access to blue mana. They could be playing some counterspells. Dispel, for example. Okay, opponent has a hard choice with their Scry. Really tough choice. They're really tanking on this one. Okay. So let's see here. They went bottom. Okay. We find another Scourge. Fantastic. So we can play Scourge and play Path. And I'm going to want to fetch Shock so that our Scourges grow. I'm thinking probably red-white. So we have all 3 of our different types of lands here. We already have a white source, actually. So we're just going to go Blood Crypt. Hit this immediately. We could attack and try and use Mutagenic Growth to take care of it in combat. That might have been a better play. What's that, handsome? There's a couple people around. Looks like we've got 3 viewers right now. All right. So we'll just hit in for 3. We'll save the Mutagenic Growth. And we'll play our other Scourge. And we have Lethal with the Mutagenic Growth for next turn. And the Growth will also allow us to play the 2 Shadows in hand. Only as 2/2s. Okay, I can't see an attack here being very good. Alright, so what could they have here? They could have lightning bolts to try and kill one of our Scourges. I'm kind of leaning towards blocking here just because this attack is so strange. So if they have Lava Dart, I think Lava Dart and Lightning Bolt do the same amount of damage when you only have 1 prowess creature. So, that's 4, 8, 9, 10 damage. That's not lethal. That's interesting. I think that, but the Scourges wouldn't actually grow. I'm gonna block here because we have 2 Death Shadows coming up. I don't know. I don't see how they could kill us. I'm not gonna block. Okay, we only take 2. The risk was worth it. We can play our Shadows now. Oh, that's a lot of Shadows. Alright, let's attack. Okay, if they have double Lightning Bolt, they don't. I think this wins the game. Yes, it does. You know, we faced off once, Handsome says. It was Dragons of Tykeer, and I was playing a Dragons deck. Alright, alright, alright. Which dragon were you playing? Was it, oh, what was his name? Was it the, Rakdos dragon? Okay, I think we're going to keep the sideboard the same. We didn't see any Dragon's Claw, so I'm going to keep the Wear Tear where it is. Okay, so we have 1 single land. Otherwise, our hand is has Dismembers, which are quite costly as far as life goes, but are very good at killing their creature. And we have the Mishra's Bauble to pseudo-scry with our land. We're going to keep this. We're going to risk it. Okay, Monastery Swiftspear. That looks like something we can kill with a Seal of Fire. Lightning Bolt. Ah, that's the one. Kolaghan, like Kolaghan's command. We could try and do a pseudo scry with the Marsh Flats, but I want to use the Seal of Fire to kill the Swiftspear. So we're not going to be able to do that. We can use the Bauble, however, to take a peek at their top card. And because they're not playing Thoughtseize, we can do it whenever. So they're going to be drawing Flame Slash. I think that's 4 damage to target creature. Okay. And we're going to get a Blood Crypt and try and kill their creature. We'll use this now because the Mutagenic Growth would be a lot worse if it was used during our turn. Okay, we got it. Let's move on. Lost in the semis to Fish. Yeah, he likes the Is It Scissor deck. I remember that. Missed on a land again, so we're really looking for a land on the next one here. And they're going to gut shot us, so they're probably going to play a... Oh, there it is, Stormwing Entity. Okay. So we're going to dismember that, which will hit our life total so we can play Shadow, and also play around Mutagenic Growth. Actually, now that I think about it, Mutagenic Growth will make the Stormwing Entity a 6/6, so the Dismember will not kill it. In that case, we're going to use the Lightning Bolt to try and get the creature out of the air. I suppose I could play the Bauble later with Prowess, but I want to draw towards a land. I want to get that second land drop. So I'm going to use it now so that I have the most chance possible to get a land for turn 3. Okay, so they're drawing Soulscar Mage. Okay, that's a Soulscar we know about. They have 2 cards in hand. One of them is a Flame Slash. We can get rid of the Soulscar Mage with Dismember, and if we draw land, we can play Death Shadow. Okay, we don't. We can play Seal of Fire to get rid of the Soulscar Mage, though. That might not work. They have 2 lands, and they could have an instant in hand. The Dismember will work for sure. And that will mean we can play our Shadow next turn. Oops, did that wrong order. Okay, nothing else we can do. Can't find that land. I mean, we're doing okay for someone that hasn't found any lands, right? Sprite Dragon and Lava Darts. The Lava Dart will keep it out of range of Seal of Fire, but we do have another Dismember, so we'll be able to kill it on our turn. And if we get land, then we can play a Shadow as well. We get Path instead. We cannot cast it. So we cannot use a Seal of Fire because they have Lava Dart. I hate going down to 4 for this, but it is what it is. We haven't been drawing lands. We are dead to Lightning Bolt now. No land again. Oh my goodness. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. One is Flame Slash. There's a Lightning Bolt, so we're dead. So no companion on their side. We have no lands, so we're going to mulligan. Okay, we have 2 lands and creatures we're going to keep. I'm leaning towards losing the Dismember on this. I'd like to keep 2 lands. Let's see here. Our opponent is also mulliganed. So we're going to lose the Dismember, so we can keep the Swiftspear Lightning Bolt. Wow, 6 liters, that's a lot. What are we supposed to drink a day to stay healthy? Okay, we'll play the Swiftspear and Bauble. Since we don't know what they're playing, we'll wait on the Bauble till their upkeep. This will play around Thoughtseize and still let us know what they're drawing this turn. They're going to get a forest. Basic forest. Okay. That's the one they play. Same art. And Arboreal Grazer. Okay. I haven't seen an Arboreal Grazer in Modern in quite some time. For a green-white land. Interesting. What are we playing against? This is curious. I have no idea. Okay, we get Dismember and Swiftspear. So we could play Swiftspear and kill their Grazer, either with Dismember or Lightning Bolt. Kind of leaning towards Cheeto Fingers. Yeah, those are got some strange digits. The question is, do we play the Scourge this turn? I could attack with the Swiftspear. They're just going to block. And then we could play Scourge. It's Omnath. Oh, okay, it's an Omnath deck. That makes sense. That's why they would want to ramp. So Dismember is going to be great for Omnath later. Lightning Bolt isn't going to have too much use besides going to the face. I'm going to play the Scourge. And it's going to be huge next turn. Yeah, we got a Blood Crypt. Cast Scourge. And pass. Interesting. Okay, Spring Bloom Druid. When it enters the battlefield, you may sack a land. If you do, search your library for 2 basics. Oh, wow, and they can sacrifice the flagstones. Cool combo. Don't know what's coming, but this is a pretty cool ramp. They've got 3 cards left in hand. One of them, let's see here. That's pretty cool. I like it. Okay, we get Death Shadow. We could play that if we dismember something. We could dismember their Arboreal Grazer and play Death Shadow. But I would prefer to keep the Dismember if they have an Omnath. So far we've only seen 2 colors though, so they might not be taking that plan. We don't know what the Dismember is good for. I would like to play the Shadow. So we're going to try that. We're going to Dismember the Grazer and play the Shadow. Yeah, it's true. Boltface does make a big Scourge, but it won't be useful until next turn. They had the 1/1 to block it. Okay, so they get to search their library for a creature, put it into hand. I remember using this card for Devoted Druid, and that was pretty much it. Oh, that's a really good card on their side, Knight of Autumn. So they're going to be able to kill the Scourge that way, Gain 4 life, it's dead. Pretty good removal spell. We get another Death Shadow. Very cool. So bolting ourselves is starting to look pretty good. I think that we start with an attack. We could play Swiftspear, attack, and then play Death Shadow post-combat. There's the res. We might be able to resurrect that later. Anyway, what do we do here? Play Swiftspear, attack with everything, and then we can use the bolt if we decide to, or we can Death Shadow. Ah, yeah, you're right. There's the Sacred Foundry. It's red. We haven't seen any blue yet, though. Okay, they're just going to block the Death Shadow, so we're going to let the damage go through. They'll just take 2, and we'll play our other Death Shadow. And then when we bolt ourselves, our Death Shadows become 6/6s. If we get fetch land, we can grow our Death Shadows to 9/9s. Oh, well, that's going to get rid of one of our shadows anyways. Okay, we find Mutagenic Growth. That's pretty cool. It can make our Swiftspears do a ton of damage this turn. Find out how they block. Okay, they're just going to block the Death Shadow. Maybe not. Block a Swiftspear instead. Okay, so we could Lightning Bolt ourselves. Make the Death Shadow a 6/6. That triggers Prowess. Or we could Mutagenic Growth the Death Shadow and keep the Lightning Bolt. And that still grows the Death Shadows and the... it grows both the Death Shadow and the Swiftspear. So we're going to do that instead. And hold the Lightning Bolt as a removal spell. Nice new card. Yeah, the Skyclave, the Apparition, and the Scourge are both fantastic. 2 excellent cards. The Skyclave Apparition is put into so many decks. I actually really love this card. I have only played against it, but I think that it's fantastic. Let's see what they go get. They're going to go get Prime Time. That's not something we can kill with a Lightning Bolt. But it doesn't stand a chance against our Death Shadow. So we can attack them and bolt ourselves. We just need to see what they get with Prime Time here. Probably zombies. Oh, they're getting 2 Field of the Dead? 4 zombies. That's a problem. And another 2 zombies. Okay, that's pretty much GG, I think. We might be able to find our way through this with a Temur Battle Rage. Find another Death Shadow. Okay. So if they attack with Titan, then we're pretty toast. But they can just block all of our creatures with zombies and have no problem with that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they got us. We're going to play out this Death Shadow. See what happens. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow. Oh, it's a raid. That's cool. Hey there, True Hero. Thanks for the raid. You found me at an inopportune moment here. Our opponent is a Prime Time and Field of the Dead. Looks like we're about to get outvalued. The TBR is the dream. Is that 21 Shadow? I mean, we got 8 shadows. Okay, here comes prime time. So let's see what lands they get, what kind of trouble I'm in. I think that it's between the Tireless Tracker and the Fields of the Dead. It's pretty over. I would like to see what card I have on top of my deck. A Vesuva, which is probably going to copy a Field of the Dead, just make tons more zombies. We're going to concede here. This is too much. It's too much. And they also gained life with Radiant Fountain. Okay. So how are we going to compete against this? We have Cleansing Wildfire, but that doesn't seem as good as Blood Moon would in this situation. Kozilek's Return could get rid of the zombies and some of the little dorks that they have kicking around to block our dudes. Path to Exile gets rid of their Titan. We need to go fast, I agree. Oops, what did I just bring in there? Cling to Dust, I don't think we need that at all. Fatal Push seems mediocre. Let's see here, Mutagenic Growth needs to go. Dismember doesn't kill Titan. Apostle's Blessing is pretty good here. Can get us past a team of zombies. We're looking to bring a card in at this point. So how are we going to try and go faster? Mutagenic Growth is pretty fast. We could bring in the extra discard spell to try and keep them off of their early ramp being on the play here. Okay, we're going to try this. Temur Battle Rage seems great in this matchup. Okay, we're going to keep this. We'll play Swiftspear, Bauble. And then next turn we can Inquisition. We're going to keep the Bloodstained Mire until next turn. And I think we'll keep one of the Baubles till next turn as well. So that we can make the Swiftspear into a 3/4 that much easier. Let's see what they're about to draw. They're going to get a Skyclave Apparition. Okay. So we can remove that with Inquisition of Kozilek. Witchmember isn't bad. It's not terrible. It does let us play our Shadow. Do like the Path to Exile there. And we get Shadow as well. Not quite ready to play it yet. We want to play the Bauble and the Inquisition. And then we can use the land to do a scry. Oh, they got Veil of Summer. Okay, well, I've got egg on my face. All right, then. In that case, I think that we probably want to go for Mishra's Bauble. Red Foreman is in chat. Take a look at ourselves. Bloodstained Mire. We don't mind having a third land. That will let us get to our Shadow. The question is, do we want to bolt them I think we want to keep it as a removal spell for later. Okay, we got Agadeem's Awakening. Unfortunately, playing the Death Shadow is going to leave it a victim for the Apparition. So that's not really what we want to be doing. I'm thinking putting Lurrus in hand here. We could do 4 damage, put them to 11. But they're not ramping at all. We're going to go get Lurrus. One Shadow to Exile. Seems pretty good. What a good trade. Okay, they're purging the Swiftspear. Okay, they'll gain 2 life, which is good against the Scourge of the Skyclave. And play a Druid, so they get extra land drops. Unfortunately, doesn't die to Lightning Bolt. So our path to Exile will just increase their plan with Field of the Dead here. So we can play the Lurrus and draw a bunch of cards. We don't have access to any other creatures. We can play the Lurrus and the Death Shadow. Give them a choice on what to take with their Skyclave Apparition. Let's see what they're about to draw here. They're going to get a castle, so they're going to have access to a ton of mana. But they don't have green, so if I kill the Dryad on their upkeep, they can't use this, and I can shuffle it away. Okay, and then we can use this. Okay, we're going to put a stop on their upkeep so we can get rid of the Dryad. Oh, we get Kozilek's Return. That's cool. That'll be good for getting rid of the Zombos. And that shuffles away the castle. Okay, let's see what they're going to draw now instead. Temple Garden. Okay, that's fine. I imagine they're going to play their Skyclave Apparition at this point to get rid of Lurrus. Nope, they're playing a Tireless Tracker instead. So that will die to Lightning Bolt, I believe. So we are getting a bit of card advantage here. And a Thoughtseize is fantastic. So we cannot use the Seal of Fire on the Tireless Tracker. They have a clue available. We don't have anything for white mana, so let's use the Sacred Foundry here. Get rid of that. We don't want to attack with the Lurrus because of our Death Shadow. We could Thoughtseize and play Shadow and play Seal of Fire, maybe. We also have access to the graveyard. We could Mishra's Bauble and see what they're about to draw. Okay, an Excavator, so they can play lands from their graveyard. Won't be able to kill that. Let's play the Thoughtseize. Get rid of the Apparition. Oh, and they also have Titan. So we have to get rid of the Titan here, guaranteed. We can play the Death Shadow, but that leaves it open to the Apparition. I think I'm fine with that if I get to keep the Lurrus. But we need the Shadow for a quick kill. Okay, we'll do this and we'll play the Seal of Fire. Do not want to attack. That would shrink my Shadow. Scourge of the Skyclaves is quite good. Especially if I'm losing my Shadow right now to the Apparition. Okay. So I can take both of these creatures out with the Seal of Fire and Kozilek's Return, but that would cost me my Lurrus. This seems like a difficult matchup. I might really need a Temur Battle Rage for this. We do have access to Seal of Fire twice. The question is, do I want to wipe their board this turn, or do I want to wait? I think I want to wait on that. And use the Kozilek's Return when I already have a Scourge of the Skyclaves on the battlefield, and hopefully it will be lethal that turn when I attack with it. So let's see what they're about to draw. Prime Time. That's rough. We have nothing we can do about that. So we'll play the Scourge. And then we have access to Kozilek's Return to wipe the zombies off the board. So this is going to get him a ton of zombies. We have Kozilek's Return to wipe the board. They get to keep the Titan, we get to keep the Scourge. They'll have to block the Scourge. Although we have to use the Seal of Fire to kill the Excavator, which means they get to stay at a rather high life total. And our Scourge just shrunk because of their Radiant Fountain. And they have a fetch land, which is a bit of a problem. It'll allow them to make more zombies after the return has gone off. Okay, we get Swiftspear. Let's use Mishra's Bauble, see what they draw. It's looking pretty poor at this point. Another fetch land, so that's another 4 zombies. I really don't see a way out of this personally. We can Kozilek's Return, we lose our Lurrus, wipe their zombies, they get to keep the Primeval Titan, and we get a 1/1. Seal of Fire could kill the Excavator, but then we only have a 6/6 versus their 6/6. They'll take the damage and continue to get value, or they can just make more zombies. So we're dead. We have a 1-land hand. We're going to mulligan this. We have 2 lands. We have creatures and spells. We'll keep. I like everything that's going on here. I want to keep all the cards. But since I have to get rid of 1, I'm going to get rid of a Lightning Bolt. I don't know if we're going to have a chance to do it this game, but one of the cool things you can do with 2 Bomat Couriers is hold priority and activate them both so that you'll discard your hand only once and be able to take all the cards from both couriers. Okay, one of the couriers is gone. They must have a removal spell. They must be flush with removal spells if they're leaving the Scourge of the Skyclaves in hand. Okay, Swiftspear. We're going to show them the card they already know about. Let's go get Blood Crypt. Start putting some cards underneath it. I think this was an ingenious addition to the 8 Shadow deck. I've drawn many cards with Bomat Courier. Uh-oh. I think I know what's coming. Oh, it's a Wrenn and 6. I should have seen that coming. That was obvious. Should have played Swiftspear. So yeah, we lose our Courier. But that means they also lose their Wrenn and 6. We can Swiftspear, Lightning Bolt them, and attack the Wrenn and 6. Oh, we get 2 Swiftspears, so we can hold a Lightning Bolt that way. Attack all creatures, Wrenn and 6. Get that off the board. They weren't able to get any advantage with it, as far as lands go. The 1-for-1 trade was pretty good for them, though. Their life total is quite small at this point, so it might have been right to be looking at their life total. Okay, we lose one of our Swiftspears. We need a lower life total ourselves if we're going to play Scourge. Mishra's Bauble. Okay, so our choice is to play a 3/3 Scourge. They could potentially have Lightning Bolt, but their red mana is already tapped. I don't think it's a bad choice. I think it's fine. Let's play the Bauble first. They could have Thoughtseize, so we will wait till their upkeep to crack the Bauble. The other thing we could do is hold on the Scourge, and we could bolt ourselves. So the Scourge would become a 6/6. But if they're holding Fatal Push, that's just way, way worse. Okay, there's the Fatal Push. That's fine. I think I still want to play the Scourge here. And we'll take a look at what they're drawing. Scavenging Ooze. Okay, we can kill that with a Lightning Bolt. Unless they have another green source. Okay, it looks like they're missing on the green source here. We get Swiftspear, fantastic. So we'll play this untapped, which will grow our Scourge. Play Swiftspear, and then we'll bolt the Scavenging Ooze. Can only grow once. And if they grow it, then they can't use Fatal Push. Okay, bring their life total down. I imagine they're using Scourges as well. Okay, we can take the stop off the upkeep there. Okay, Bloodbraid Elf. and Cling to Dust. So they could gain some life or draw a card with that. They're going to gain life. I respect that. I don't imagine they're going to attack here. I would only grow my Scourge. Okay, let's see what we draw. We get our own Cling to Dust. Let's see here. I think we'll Cling their Cling. That will allow our Monastery Swiftspear to trade with Bloodbraid Elf. And we draw a Scourge, which we cannot cast because we do not have a second black mana source. We will offer the trade. If they take the trade, they're taking 5. Okay. Would love to play the Scourge here, but we just don't have the right mana for it. One of the problems with playing Mardu. So we are going to lose the Scourge we have in play. But they are out of cards here, so we're pretty close. We need to evade one draw. Okay, Agadeem's Awakening. I think I'm going to want to play that as a land, untapped, and play the Scourge. Okay, we just need to evade removal spell. If we evade creature, that would be ideal. Okay, Bloodbraid Elf, that's pretty good for them. Into Scavenging Ooze, so they get 2 creatures. They can tick their Liliana up to 2, which will take care of the Scourge next turn. What do we have access to? We have Cling to Dust, or we could put Lurrus in hand. What do we draw? We get Thoughtseize, which is useless. Okay. So we attack them, they block. Okay, and then we put Lurrus in hand. And that way we can recover from the Liliana if they make us sacrifice our Scourge. If they make us discard a card, we'll discard Thoughtseize. Now that I think about it, how much can they attack with Scavenging Ooze for? They have 3 green sources, so they could go up to 6. That's actually pretty good here. And they can get rid of our Scourge of the Skyclaves so we can't bring it back with the Lurrus. Okay. Oh, they're using one of their green manas for Tarmogoyf. Bye-bye one of the Scourge. And they have 1 mana left open, so they can get the other one when I cast the Lurrus. Okay, I get just land. I have to crack this now because I won't be able to get the Scourge if they miss a beat otherwise. White mana, black mana. So this is their chance to target Scourge. Okay, they're smart. So we could bring in Swiftspear as a blocker, or Bomat Courier. It's looking pretty poor. We could Mishra's Bauble and hope to draw Fatal Push. But either way, they have... Oh, they only have 1 lethal threat. The Tarmogoyf isn't quite lethal yet. So I think we get Mishra's Bauble and hope to draw Fatal Push, because otherwise chumping isn't going to get us anywhere. Let's see what they're going to draw. They're going to draw Kolaghan's Command. Okay, so we're dead. And we get Bloodstained Mire. We're going to concede here. We'll wait to see what they do with the Kolaghan's command. If they kill the Lurrus, we're dead. Otherwise, Lurrus can block. Okay. So we're playing against Jund. Let's see here. So, the lightning bolts aren't too great. Path to Exile seems decent. We'll use those. Get rid of their Tarmogoyfs. Kolaghan's command is going to be good. It's a huge value play with Lurrus. Let's see here. Traditional wisdom is to take out Thoughtseizes, but with the opponent having so many removal spells, Temur Battle Rage, I believe, is a bad option. Lightning Bolt isn't going to be that strong. It does have a couple targets. We could take out 2 Thoughtseize. The Cling to Dust is only really going to be good if they have Kroxa or Cling to Dust. So we could potentially take that out. I don't think it's necessary. We could probably leave it just as a way to draw extra cards in the late game. Okay, we'll show them our cat. And how about that? We got Thoughtseize. Can we get Shadow out on turn 2? Maybe if we bolt ourselves. We're going to keep this. We probably won't bolt ourselves, but we are going to keep. We can play Silent Clearing first to start getting life out of it. And we can Mishra's Bauble them to get a better idea on how we're supposed to use our Thoughtseize. That does leave us open to their Thoughtseize, though, is the problem. But if they have a Thoughtseize, we can take it with ours. So let's take a look at what they're drawing. They're going to be drawing Rakdos Charm. Interesting choice. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard, so they're really looking at our Lurrus. Okay. So they've got Dark Confidant, which we can kill with Lightning Bolt. They have Tarmogoyf, which is difficult to kill with Lightning Bolt. And they have Chandra and Bloodbraid Elf, which they don't have the mana for. We're going to take the Tarmogoyf, and then we can Lightning Bolt the Dark Confidant. And we find another land. Excellent. Okay, so that's the Peat Land, rather. Let's get rid of that. We get Godless Shrine. Okay, that's enough lands. Thank you. And we'll play the Arid Mesa and we'll pass. We don't have the life total yet to get to Death Shadow. We can do that on our coming turn. We do have to be careful of Lightning Bolt, though. Okay, and then we'll use the Silent Clearing just to do ourselves an extra ping of damage. Okay, we find another Death Shadow. So, we can play the Arid Mesa. And then we can play the Death Shadows as a 1/1s. Scourge and Bob are best friends. They're pretty close. Maybe I should be playing Bob. Play the Silent Clearing, and then the Arid Mesa will save our Death Shadows from Lightning Bolt. One Shadows. Let's go. No fear. Oh, they're drawing a card already. That's super risky. To use the Nurturing Peat Land to draw a card immediately. Okay, we won. Okay, I think that we want to stick with basically the same thing here. Let's see what we get for our starting hand after we show off our cat. This hand is garbage. It has no lands. We will mulligan. Okay, we have 2 lands and we have removal spells. I can bottom the Apostle's Blessing. We have no creatures. But this hand is better than a random 5, I think. Found the winning line. Kill their Bob and play creatures. 1/1 shadows. It's all about the 1/1 shadows. What are they going to Inquisition here? We have 2 1 mana removal spells. 3 rather. I would imagine they're going to get the Kolaghan's Command, but they take the efficient burn spell instead. We get a Bomat Courier. Fantastic. That's pretty much exactly what we were looking for. Okay, we'll start with Arid Mesa. Get a Blood Crypt. And attack in for 1. Got your Morning Post right here. The post that hurts the most. Bomat Courier. Bomat Courier down. I've lost a card. I don't know what it is. It's gone forever. No problem. We can get that back with Kolaghan's Command. Play Bloodstained Mire and hold up removal spells. Next turn we're probably going to grab a Lurrus. They're doing a lot of work on their own health over there. We should have no problem playing a Scourge of the Skyclaves once we draw 1. Okay, they're just going to pass. We're going to leave our land as is to help activate push later. Although we might be... Oh, no. Swiftspear means we're playing Swiftspear. Okay, that turned on their removal spell, so we can get the... Hey, thanks for the follow. My man. We got nothing else to do this turn. Let's pass. Okay, we're going to, again, leave the fetch land where it is. It helps with the Fatal Push. And we don't mind losing life. So I think this turn we are going to want to put the Lurrus into hand. We have nothing else to do. We're going to go get a white source. Get Godless Shrine. And we'll need another land before we can really play it, because we don't have Mishra's Bauble. We have Bomat Courier and Swiftspear in the yard. Okay, Cling to Dust gets rid of Lightning Bolts. They're looking to draw cards rather than keep my Lurrus from gaining value. Okay. Looking all right so far. Let's see what we draw. We get land, so we're going to be playing Lurrus into Bomat Courier. Get a little bit of value there. Attack with a Courier. Could potentially give us some big draws later. We haven't drawn any cards in this league with Bomat Courier, but last league we drew plenty of cards with Courier. Okay, they're getting ready to cast something. Is this a Cling to Dust again? It's a lot of mana and a lot of time. I think they're recasting Cling. Yeah, here it is. They're going to remove their own Lightning Bolt? Really? You know you can exile my lands, right? And you'll draw a card. Maybe they don't know that. I don't know, it just seems strange to exile one of your own resources to draw a card when you could have exiled one of mine. They hate bolts? Why are they playing them then? I guess it's one of those, you hate them, you join them things. Okay. So what does this do? It deals damage and gains life, and makes mana, and removes cards from graveyards. It does a lot of things. It does all the things. We can't dismember it because it's not a creature yet. We can dismember that. I'm thinking we'll probably play Swiftspear and then dismember for mana. Okay, we get another path. That makes the Tarmogoyf a 2/3. I still like using the Dismember here. We might leave a path open. Yeah, we'll hold up path and Fatal Push, and we'll just lose 2 life. I think that's a much better line. It does mean we can't draw cards with Bomat Courier, but we're not interested in discarding any of the cards we have. The one question is, do we attack with Lurrus? I think we're in for attacking with Lurrus here. We want more damage. It's okay if we gain a little life. No, I don't think the K command was good enough value. We wanted to kill the Tarmogoyf for sure. Okay, Rabble Master. We cannot push that, but we could path it before they can make a token. The thing is, the token has to attack, right? Okay, but only when the Rabble Master is in play, so they would be able to keep it as a blocker later. I'm going to go ahead and path this pre-combat. And I'm hoping that will demoralize them to the point where they concede. Not quite, huh? Okay. Is the Kolaghan's command lethal here? We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the Mutagenic Growth makes it easy, so we'll just attack. They have 1 card in hand, so they could still blow us out. We have no cards in the graveyard to bring back with Lurrus. Let's attack. They seem to have nothing. We'll start with Kolaghan's command. We'll discard a card and do 2 damage to them. And then we'll want to leave mana open. We want to leave the Godless Shrine open. So red and black. Okay, this is lethal. Oh, I thought it was lethal. I missed the Mutagenic Growth. Oh, that was a punt. I was supposed to Mutagenic Growth there. But I thought the Kolaghan's command was... I am guessing this is Cockatrice. No, this is the official Magic the Gathering program. Magic the Gathering Online. So, anyways, we just won. So we ended up 3-2. We're going to take a second here to just take a look at the deck as we wind down. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Magic the Gathering Online, also known as Modo. Let's see here. So online doesn't just support Standard and Recent Modern anymore. So if you're thinking about Arena, Arena is for Standard and Historic and Draft. And then Modo plays all formats basically, but really Modern and Legacy is where it's at. And I also play Pauper on Modo on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, so let's open up the Shadows deck. This is the deck that I was playing today. and I'll be playing it again on Friday. Big fan of this deck. Definitely like it more than the version with the Soulscar mages. This one runs Bomat Courier instead. It has access to white mana so that we can play Path to Exile of the board. Let's see here. Online was what Arena is now, like a few years ago. Then it died quickly, and the idea of Arena, I tried it at the time, lol. Yeah, Arena really was very popular when it first came out, and has taken the spotlight as far as Standard goes. A lot of people left Moto at the time, but people have slowly been coming back. And I mean, this is where you can play Modern and Legacy with people from all over the world. So if you prefer Modern to Standard, this is really your only choice. I guess you could play programs like you were talking about before, Cockatrice, X-Mage. There's various programs that you can play this game for free. But I kind of like I like having something on the line. So I like being able to play for tickets, which is basically money. Arena is closer to a video game. Yeah, I totally agree. Also with Arena, you have basically a timer per turn, whereas in Moto, you have a chess clock, which is for the entire game. So if you want to, you can spend 2 or even 5 minutes considering your line of play, and you won't get slow play warnings. But if you take over 5 minutes, I think at 5 or 6 minutes, the game will kick you out and say that you're not active, and they think that you just like left the room or something. Yeah, that's right. MTGO is basically the same as Paper Magic. You can play any format. And having access to everyone in the world means that you can actually find an opponent. So, like, if you want to play Vintage, you can actually afford to buy a deck, which is cool, and then also find an opponent. Like, I don't know too many people that play Vintage. Yeah, that can be a bit of a problem. Fortunately, most of the time, you can get reimbursed if the program was at fault. I did have one instance where the program didn't work properly, and they reimbursed me my entry fee. One of the problem is that some bugs just won't get fixed. So that is unfortunate. We are winding down now, so I'm going to talk about one more thing. I'm going to be playing Stompy tomorrow. This is the deck list. So if you're interested in all at Pauper, you can check this out tomorrow. We're going to be going fast, so I imagine the league will take about 2 hours. And if you'd like to check out my YouTube, I have a link to it on my Twitch page. You should be able to find it in my profile. I don't have the links set up in the chat yet. That's something I'm going to be working on this weekend. But you can find me by looking for Cooper the Red and looking for the ferret face. Anyways, thank you very much for everyone that dropped in. I had a really good time playing, and hopefully we'll see each other again. Cheers.